morning. We're going to talk a little bit about 3.1 today. It is multiplying by patterns. So 3.1, it is patterns multiplying decimals. Okay, one of the things we're talking about is multiplying by decimals. So we are basically moving our numbers either to the right or to the left. So let's start out with 3 and 1900ths, and we're going to multiply by that 1. And so we know anytime we multiply a number by 1, we end up getting the same number in return. Now, when I multiply 3 and 1900ths times 10, I'm noticing there's a 0 there. The 0 in the multiplication is telling me how many times to the right I'm going to hop. So the zeros equals the number of hops that we're going to make. So with this particular one, I'm going to move it one place to the right. So my new answer is going to be 31 and 9/10. Now let's do 3 and 1900ths, but this time let's multiply it by 100. Now remember, the number of zeros tells us how many hops we need to take to the right. So this one I'm going to go 1, 2 places, and so our answer now is going to be 319. Now remember, as we're going, what do you notice about the numbers? They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger. So now what if we take 3 and 1900ths and multiply it by 1,000? Again, we're going to go to the right. And how many zeros is the number of hops we take? So this one says we are taking 3 hops to the right. So 1, 2, 3. Notice I don't have a number there. I'm going to place a 0 in its spot. So now I've got 3,190. I need to fill in that empty spot with a 0. Okay, that's pretty easy. So let's go to the next part of our lesson. And we're going to say, like 74 and 6/10. And we're going to start out easy, multiplying it by 1. Well, that's 74 and 6/10. But instead of multiplying by 10, 100, or 1,000 this time, what if we say 74 and 6/10, but this time we're going to multiply it by 1/10. That actually means we're going to go to the left with our decimal. So remember, the zeros indicate the number of hops we're going to take and which direction are we going to go. So this one says I've got one place, and now 1/10 can also be written like this. And it says I have 1 0, so I'm going to take my decimal. I'm going to go left one spot or one hop, and now I have 7 and 46/100. Notice this time we got smaller with our numbers, smaller. Okay, so let's try another one, 74 and 6/10, and this time we're going to multiply it by 0 and 100th. How many hops am I going to take this time? Because remember, it can be written as a fraction also. I'm going to move it 2 places. 2 places. Which direction? Left. So 1, 2. So remember, I like to cover up that decimal with a 0. So there is our decimal, 746 thousandths. Okay, our number has gotten much smaller. Now let's look at when they give us missing numbers. Missing numbers. So here we go with that. I have N times, let's do it with money, $3.25. But when something happened, and we call this a variable, algebraic term, a variable, a missing number, something happened, I multiplied it by 325 multiplied by some number gave me an answer of $325. What did I multiply that by? Now let's look. Here's this, and I need it to look like this. So I'm going to go 1, 2 places. 2 places to get it to that. So if I'm going to do 1, 2 places, that means I multiplied it by 100. 1, 2, and the decimal ended up here. Okay, so whatever I do, I've got to make sure it's going to match on the other side. So I can say N is equal to 100. How many spots did I go? 2 spots is equal to 100. Okay, what if I have 1,000 and I'm going to multiply it by an unknown number, a variable, and I know my answer is going to be 630. Okay, what was it before it came to 630? Now remember, I have 3 spots I need to move that to. So if this was my original answer, and I know when I multiplied I had to go to the right, this time I want to go left 3 spots. So this first time it went 3 spots to give me this answer, right? What was it before? It was that. What was it before? Okay, so if I understand there is an invisible decimal point behind there, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3 spots. So now I know what my N is equal to. N is equal to 0, cover it up, decimal 6, 3, and I can put the 0 if I like. It's really not necessary. So my answer is going to end up being 6 and 63 hundredths, and you can also check your work to make sure that it does work out correctly. 1,000 times 0 and 63 is equal to, remember, 1, 2, 3, I got to have that 0 in there, is 630. So I know it does work out for me. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching.